The world feels like it's on a knife's edge. You can feel it. It's in the headlines you read, the conversations you have. This September in 2025, that feeling is more intense than ever. We're seeing a convergence of crises across the globe, from the tense borders of Eastern Europe to the ancient streets of Jerusalem, from the Himalayan foothills to the Korean Peninsula, and right here at home in the United States. These aren't just isolated incidents happening somewhere over there. They are deeply connected. They are threads in a larger global story about power, technology, justice, and the future we are all building. We are at a series of inflection points. In Russia, we see a test of international alliances. In the Middle East, a new generation challenges old narratives. In Nepal, young leaders use technology to demand different government. In North Korea, an authoritarian regime tries to control the digital world. And in the United States, fundamental questions about democracy and unity are being put to the test. These events affect the price of gas you put in your car, the technology you use every day. The world is more interconnected than ever before. This report is about understanding those connections, looking beyond breaking news to see deeper trends. These are stories about the world we all share, and the difficult questions we must all confront. The chill along the Russia-NATO border is more than just the autumn air. It's a strategic freeze that has the world watching. This month, Russia has escalated its military drills in the Kaliningrad exclave, deploying advanced hypersonic missile systems. But NATO and its allies see it differently. They see it as a provocation, a clear and direct challenge to the security of the Baltic states and Poland. The rhetoric from Moscow has been aggressive, accusing the West of encirclement. The response from NATO has been firm. It feels like a throwback to the Cold War, but the weapons are far more advanced. For the people living in Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, the presence of Russian troops is a constant source of anxiety. They remember a history of occupation and look to NATO as their security guarantee. Strategically, this is a test of Article 5. An attack on one is an attack on all. Russia's actions seem designed to probe for weakness, to see how far it can push. This highlights a new reality in modern warfare: autonomous technology and AI-driven systems. They can make decisions in fractions of a second, potentially shrinking the window for diplomacy. This raises profound questions about the laws of war. Who is responsible when an AI makes a mistake? Amid the tension, small opportunities for de-escalation exist. Diplomatic backchannels remain open. Can quiet voices for peace be heard over the drumbeat of mobilization? The fate of European security may depend on the answer. Civic groups work to maintain cultural and scientific ties, trying to build bridges where politicians build walls. In Jerusalem, a city sacred to billions, the conflict between Israelis and Palestinians feels both ancient and dangerously new. This September, tensions have flared once again, sparked by disputes over access to holy sites and ongoing settlement expansion. Protests have been met with heavy-handed security response, leading to a familiar cycle of violence. What's different now is the voice of the people on the ground, particularly the youth. They are tired of old leadership and failed peace processes. For Palestinians, it means checkpoints, restrictions on movement, and constant fear of losing their homes. For Israelis, it means persistent threat of rocket fire and deep societal divisions over their country's future. The human cost is immense, measured in lives lost, families shattered, and generations growing up without hope. The strategic meaning is equally profound. The unresolved conflict fuels regional extremism and complicates international alliances. What's truly new is youth-led civic action. Young Palestinians and Israelis, connected through apps and social media, organize in new ways. They are bypassing traditional political factions that they feel have failed them. They document human rights abuses with their phones, creating a real-time, unvarnished record of the conflict. They build cross-community alliances focused on environmental justice and economic opportunity. This digital native generation is changing the narrative, demanding a future not defined by past failures. This movement presents both opportunity and challenge. The opportunity is for genuine grassroots peace process. These young leaders talk about justice, rights, and coexistence. The challenge is immense pressure from all sides. They face targeting by hardliners and dismissal by establishments. Their courage and innovation offer a glimmer of hope in a conflict that has seen far too little of it. Far from global power centers, a different struggle unfolds in the mountains of Nepal. It's a quiet revolution, fought not with guns, but with smartphones and data. For months, a youth-led political movement has gained momentum, demanding reforms to tackle corruption and improve government services. This September, their efforts culminated in massive, peaceful demonstrations in Kathmandu. They are calling for transparency, accountability, and a government that works for its people, not political elite. It's a powerful display of civic voice in a young democracy. The impact is shaking Nepal's political establishment. Traditional parties have been caught off guard by the scale and sophistication. The youth use technology to organize, crowdfund activities, and fact-check politicians in real time. This has created new political engagement in a country where many had grown cynical about politics. The movement impacts the future of work in Nepal. Young people demand an end to jobs based on political connections rather than merit. This is a powerful example of how technology can empower civic action. Protesters developed apps to report bribery and track public spending. They use social media to share information and coordinate, bypassing state-controlled media. This created a new public square, a digital space where citizens hold leaders accountable. It's a model watched closely by activists in other developing democracies. The road ahead is uncertain. The government faces pressure to either concede to demands or crack down on protests. There's opportunity for meaningful reform, but also risk that the old guard will use power to crush the movement. Their fight is a fight for the future of their country. North Korea remains one of the most isolated and repressive countries on Earth. This September, the regime in Pyongyang has taken control to a new level with the National Fortress Network, a new, advanced version of its domestic intranet, completely walled off from the global internet. At the same time, it has conducted sophisticated cyber attacks against financial institutions and cryptocurrency exchanges in South Korea and Japan. The message is clear. North Korea wants to harness technology's power for its own purposes while denying it to its people. It's a strategy of digital authoritarianism. The human impact is devastating. 25 million people are being further sealed off from the outside world. Any hope that the internet might bring new ideas is being extinguished. Their reality is dictated entirely by state propaganda. Meanwhile, the regime's cyber activities pose significant threat to global financial stability. Money stolen from heists funds nuclear weapons programs, bypassing international sanctions. This creates a dangerous cycle. The more isolated North Korea becomes, the more it relies on illicit cyber activities, leading to further isolation. This situation is a stark illustration of technology's dark side. While in Nepal, technology empowers citizens, in North Korea, it enslaves them. The regime uses AI and surveillance technology to monitor its population, track dissent, and enforce loyalty. This is the dystopian future human rights advocates have been warning about. Despite the bleak picture, efforts exist to pierce this digital curtain. Activist groups work to smuggle information on USB drives. It is slow, dangerous work, but it is a lifeline of hope for the North Korean people. Right here at home, the United States is grappling with its own profound challenges. The political divisions that have been simmering for years feel deeper and more entrenched than ever. This September, intense debates play out in communities across the country ahead of contentious midterm elections. The arguments are not just about policies, they are about the very identity and future of the nation. Issues like voting rights, economic inequality, the role of the United States in the world. The level of polarization is alarming, and the search for common ground seems increasingly difficult. The impact of this division is felt in our neighborhoods, our workplaces, and even our families. Trust in institutions is at an all-time low. Government, media. The future of work is a major point of contention. Automation, remote work, the role of unions. There's growing anxiety about the future, particularly among young people. Strategically, a divided America is weaker on the world stage. Our allies worry about reliability, adversaries see opportunity. In this fractured landscape, community-based initiatives emerge as sources of hope and resilience. One powerful example, military veterans stepping into service. Team Rubicon and the mission continues. Mobilize veterans to serve communities. These veterans work to bridge political divides, bringing leadership skills, commitment to service, and credibility that transcends partisan politics. This brings us back to the power of ordinary people to make a difference in extraordinary times. Stories from Russia, Israel, Palestine, Nepal, North Korea are not just distant headlines. They reflect struggles we face at home. Technology is a tool. Youth voices matter. In a world on edge, the slow work of building community is most important. That's a lesson worth remembering.